Okay, hitting the 3 o'clock window. Texas Tech at Arizona State. Arizona State plus 9.5 is the line. Game total 49.5. Ooh, that's an over that has my antenna up. Okay, let me see if I can find this. There we go. Okay, so Texas Tech coming in undefeated, 6-0. Looks in the trenches. That team looks fantastic. They've kind of dog walked just about everybody they've played. No, no, I don't think anybody scored more than I think 17 points is the most they allowed. That was last week against Kansas at home. Meanwhile, Arizona State has been really up and down. Uh, Bad loss. Oh, I mean, scheduled loss at Utah. Um, they beat TCU by 3. They beat Baylor by 3. They beat up on Texas State at home, and they lost to Mississippi State at Mississippi State. So okay, so they haven't really dropped anything at home yet. That's interesting. My understanding is Sam Levitt is expected to be back for this one. Whether he's 100%, you know, remains to be seen. Let's just do a quickie check on the injury status. Yeah, he's taking first team reps in practice. He had a foot injury, so that might affect his mobility, which is not, which you don't want to be limited mobility against this Texas Tech front. Um, that's a concern. On the other side, let me do a quickie check on the Texas Tech quarterback. Baron Morton, he did leave with a leg injury last week for Texas Tech. Um, let's let's see. We have the Lubbock Avalanche Journal here is going to tell us whether. Oh, it's paywalled. You suck. Okay, so Baron Morton and Skylar Howard are both day to day. Okay, but head coach Joey McGuire is optimistic about both players playing. Honestly, I think the line is telling us that Baron Morton is going to play. I'd wait until kickoff to see what the injury what the final injury update is on everybody before betting this. For the show's sake, I'll lay the 9.5. I'll be a chalk eating weirdo for this week. I'll lay the 9.5 with Texas Tech. Um, Handicap there is I think even without Baron Morton, they're so nasty on the defensive and offensive lines that I don't really think it matters, if I'm honest. Like I think if Baron Morton plays, and I think 9.5 points, I think the line is kind of telling that Baron Morton they're expecting to have Baron Morton out there. Um, so we'll see what happens with him. If his game really isn't as much mobility focus as Sam Levitt's is, so I'm really not that concerned if he's limited in mobility. Also, I feel like Texas Tech can protect him reasonably well, and they can also kind of switch it up and ground and pound a little bit. Uh, with Cameron Dickey, he can kind of take if they need to, if he needs to have a crazy game from the win, I could see it. Um, I just feel, we just saw Arizona State get bullied by a more physical Utah team, and now they get a Texas Tech team that can match Utah in terms of physicality. So I think that tells us all. Granted, it was a Jeff Sims offense, so I'm surprised they scored 10 points against Utah. But that being said, a limited Sam Levitt or a healthy Jeff Sims, I'd still take a limited Sam Levitt. I think they should be able to score. They'll probably score 17, but I don't see Arizona State being able to stop Texas Tech from covering this. I just don't see it. I mean, they score 30 to 40 points every game. 42, 35, 34, 45, 62. So I don't I don't think Arizona is going to be the team to stop um, Texas Tech in terms of this. It's going to be warm, but I'm seeing a projected temperature of 80 game time temperature of 80 for this one, so it's not going to be ridiculous. Also, these kids are Texas Tech. They play in Lubbock where it can get equally hot. So I'm really not worried about the weather having an impact. It, Texas Tech is a better, they're on the road, they're undefeated with the number next to the name, red flags. However, I just think that again, it's just a case of a better roster going out there. Give me Texas Tech minus the 9.5. I'll keep eating all this chalk. Next up.